Hi everyone, Miss Grace here. So this week in reading and in writing, we are going to be reading some fairy tales. So I wanted to go over some information about fairy tales. A fairy tale is a make-believe story that has royalty, problem and solution, good characters, evil characters, a lot of times called the villain, talking animals, setting, happy ending, once upon a time, lesson or moral, and magic. Here's just a little list of some traditional fairy tales and characters. We have Cinderella, the Three Little Pigs, Rapunzel, Three Billy Goats Gruff, Jack and the Beanstalk, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Sleeping Beauty, Little Red Riding Hood, Hansel and Gretel, Beauty and the Beast, Princess and the Pea, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And there's so many more. That's just a short list. Now, a fractured fairy tale. A fractured fairy tale is a story that is written based off of a traditional fairy tale. There might be small changes or really big changes when compared to the traditional fairy tale. There are a lot of fractured fairy tales out there. There's a ton on Epic, and I want you to explore them. Maybe you even have one around your house. So this chart here just says how to fracture a fairy tale. You could change the characters, change the setting, change the conflict, so what goes wrong, change the plot, change the ending, change the point of view, or just create a mix and match. Here's a few pictures at the bottom of some different fractured fairy tales. How are these stories similar and different? You can compare and contrast two versions of a fairy tale by different authors. As you read different versions of fairy tales, I want you to think about how the characters, the setting, and the events are the same and different. Venn diagrams are a great way to compare and contrast two versions of the same text. So you could compare and contrast a traditional fairy tale with a fractured fairy tale. And then the inside is how they are alike, how they are similar. So if you joined the Zoom on Thursday, my friends who did the Zoom with me, we discussed the traditional tale of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and then I read a story called Goldie Rocks and the Three Bears, and we saw how the two stories were similar and different, and filled out this Venn diagram. So Goldilocks, she's in the forest, she breaks chairs, she eats porridge, she ends up sleeping in beds. Goldie Rocks, it's in a neighborhood. The bears were in a band. They formed a rock band at the end with the Goldie Rocks and the Three Bears, and Goldie could sing. And then how they're similar, they both had three bears, a little girl trying to find the just right things. In both stories, Goldie was doing that, and in both stories, the little girl breaks into a house that is not hers. I'm going to talk about writing for this week. What do fairy tale characters do when no one is looking? Most people think that fairy tale characters huff and puff, eat porridge, go to fancy balls, fall in love, live happily ever after. But when no one is looking, what are they doing? You are going to pick a fairy tale character and write what the character does when nobody's watching. Think of many different hobbies or activities and be creative. Refer to the list of characters and read my example on the next slide. So you could go back and look at these characters here. Cinderella, the Three Little Pigs, and the Big Bad Wolf, Rapunzel. Like I said, there's so many more. You could think of a character from there. So I chose to do Goldilocks, because we read that book, and we read a fractured tale as well. But also here's some ideas of some hobbies: sewing, playing a sport, fishing, singing, riding bikes, cooking, baking, running, karate, skateboarding, dancing, playing an instrument. It could be anything. So here's my example. I called it Goldilocks and the Three Brownies. Goldilocks is a master baker. When no one is watching, she is baking. She fell in love with porridge when she went into the Three Bears' house. She decided that she wanted to start cooking but couldn't make anything that was just right. So she started to bake. Goldilocks bakes everything just right and can't stop baking. She bakes for her family and her friends, especially the 3 bears. Goldilocks makes the best brownies ever. So that's my little twist and on Goldilocks and what she does when she's not breaking into bears' houses or singing in her band. And then on this last slide, you can write right on this. You could give it a title in this box up here, and then you could type in here. So mine was Goldie, so you just type right in there, and then you click in here, and you can say however you want to start your writing about your fairy tale character and what they do when no one is watching. Have fun and have a great week, guys. Talk to you later. See you soon.